All right. I think this is working. So, just got home from work. I don't have anything going on Friday night, nor do I feel like doing anything. Is that building a Land Raider? Because I need one. Uh, hmm. Yo, what is up, guys? Let's go, nerd. What's up, man? Nice, dude. Running Warp Strike. Actually, let me make this bigger. Yes, the Terminators are super fun. All right. Um, yeah, so I'm almost finished my priority assets document. So I was going to, the plan is to live stream the whole thing, and then I will give away all the planning documents, and then I'm going to move on to another disposition. I think I'm going to go purge just because my practice partner Frank has been playing purge. I'm like, man, why does that seem so much easier than what I'm doing? But the intent is to go on like a disposition run, play all of them. I definitely am noticing like I think Happy Crumpin was talking about this earlier. He's like it's almost less about the faction now and it is more about the disposition, which I agree with. So for me, in my head, the best way to learn how to beat something is to play it. Uh and one of my buddies, his name is Seth, super awesome dude. I met him at LVO last year. He went by himself, so I definitely felt his pain. I went by myself my first year, so we invited him out to dinner. Super awesome guy. I think he lives in Seattle, and he is playing Salamanders. So we've been going back and forth. He's helped me prep a couple times. I've helped him prep, but I was looking at his Salamanders list and I liked it a lot. He said he liked it too. And yeah, so I think I'm going to build Salamanders. Should I be running priority or disruption warp strike list? I would say start priority. Um, and then go to disruption. Or go disruption and then go priority. I mean, it's really just like that up in the air. I will say, and that's kind of the purpose for building that like all those planning documents and doing a like planning video to like break it all down. So in the document that I made, it has all 15 missions. We'll go over all the layouts. We'll pick a current list that I'm using, and then again, if you watch any of my other like GT prep videos, for me, I gotta have deployment and turn one. I need to see it on the table. I go back and forth between PowerPoint and TTS. PowerPoint for me, they were making fun of me at the teams tournament, but he's like, what? My one teammate was like, what is this, like 1990s TTS? And I was like, look, man, I travel a lot. TTS kills my laptop battery when I'm not plugged in like fucking 20 minutes, but I can be on PowerPoint for like several hours, so I can get more output. I've been bouncing back and forth. Dude, I would honestly just pick one, read over all the missions for all five potential missions you could play, and then just go with it. Um Build your list based off of what the disposition is asking you to do. And then I would say just spend a little bit of time, at least with one layout, come up with your deployment and your turn one, and just go with it. Everything's still so new. Just play it. And winning and losing is not the goal. The goal is to understand what is the mission asking you to do, and then pay attention to what your opponent needs to do. And that's really the best. That's where I'm at right now. I'm just winning and losing is not even part of the equation. It's just what is the game asking me to do, and solidifying that in my head. I started with priority just because I was playing Hammer of Averni. You can, so we're adding in the Librarius Conclave, of course. So you could go. I think it's reconnaissance, but to me, reconnaissance you need a lot more MSU. I think priority. Oh, 100%. Yeah, and like in the stream game, in both games I played, at the end of it, it was just like, dude, I was playing still like 10th with a 10th edition mindset. So like your natural really just needs to have a couple cheap trading pieces because you score the most primary by retaking a center objective. And I was not doing that. I was out of position. So again, for me, it's just I gotta know. I gotta see it in my head, like what deployment looks like, and then what my turn one looks like, and then really after that, the game kind of just unfolds on its own. But keeping that in mind, and then also scoring that 10 at the end is huge. So having a turn five attacking your opponent's home, so you can't blow your load on all your heavy hitter units too early, holding the center. Frank was playing World Eaters, so Purge the Foe, and I really should have just been letting him come to me. But I will say, +2 movement, advance in charge Terminators, and fallback in charge is fucking awesome. Um, and then it's other little things like getting used to the 9-inch coherency for your bigger units. I have a couple other list ideas. So in the Salamanders list that I built, I still have Librarius because one, I built all those Terminators, so I'm gonna get my mileage out of them. But also, again, still having even a 5-man advance in charge, Terminators, 7-inch movement coming out of Deep Strike, like that's a fucking problem. Been practicing deployment today. Yeah, awesome, dude. 900 points in Deep Strike. I haven't played into World Eaters yet. I mean, dude, they're still good. So he was just playing what he played last in 10th edition, so he was continuing Berserker Warband. His test for the stream earlier this week was dropping Angron for more what are they called? The dang Exalted 8 bound, having 2 of them in deep strike. I thought it worked out well for him. But I think he's gonna try the demon one next, which I played into that in 10th. It's fucking wild. But that's the thing. Like he came over and he's like, "Oh, I don't know what I should do," and I'm like, "Just fucking test whatever you thought was cool or you want to try." Like that's the goal, man. He ended up beating my ass too. So did they make sure you check into that? So Derek was talking about that last night. I think there's something new that came out. Don't quote me on this, but this is what he was saying that like the turn 1 deep strike is I think there was some sort of FAQ or something in the rules. Um so just check that out. But we did a really early test game, played into Warp Strike, and he had that unit. And it was fucking cool. It was definitely got his mileage out of it. I think that's the one where you get the plus to your charges as well. So that's scary. But also it's one of those things where it's like, yes, I know you can deep strike turn 1, but it's also like in my opinion, are you hitting them hard enough to where that play like makes it worth its points and worth the board state? Because I mean, again, if it's a 5 man, even if you're going to his, natural or whatever, they essentially have, you know, all like the majority of their army ready to go. So like, unless you can tag a ton of stuff, like if it's, I'm not saying you could or would do this, but if it's like Warp Talons or just like a 10 man just tagging and they don't have fallback and do stuff, then yeah, I think that's a an option to like really pin somebody in. Mutilators also reroll charges. Yeah, that's good. Any experience of playing Dark Angels? Yep. Um really trying to make Dark Angels work. I mean, I played um our teammate Kyle, he's a Dark Angels guy. It was still 10th edition. I was getting ready for a teams tournament, but that was the list that he was going to run in 11th. I think he did pretty well at the last RTT. But again, kind of like what I was talking about before, I think the main thing is it's less about like I'm trying to make faction X work. I think it's more I need to get familiar with the dispositions and whatever naturally works for you. But then also, like if you're getting ready for teams, like if you're doing an 8 man, you have to have 5 of each disposition before you can start mirroring. So within your play group, I mean, you might be playing Purge for an example, and like let's just say it's you're playing Purge World Eaters, and I'm just throwing this out there as an example. And then there's a dude on your team who's playing Purge Blood Angels, and he's just better. Well, then maybe you'd be the second Purge guy, or they're gonna ask you to play something else. So I think, in my opinion, I think what to do in the edition right now is go on a disposition radio and just play all of them. And then stick with what feels right, because you're still going to learn, man. You're still going to learn, like, okay, this is what this disposition is trying to do, and then when you play against it's already in your head. It's not like previously with everyone essentially playing the same primary. Kind of think the enhancements. What do you mean paint? I kind of think the enhancements metal game more than anything. I can only run priority or disposition with my detachments. I'm feeling more like a recon player, so I'm trying to make. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, dude, Derek and I had the same conversation the other day. He's like, dude, I'm leaning towards disruption as an orc player. So, dang, dude, this thing is an old model. These fucking mold lines are thick. What do you mean mental? Like being able to deep strike round one opponent, being like that. Oh, okay. So you brought up a good point. For an example, if you have a player, Derek does this all the time. If you pay attention to the little things, the little conversations, Blood Angels players do this all the time, right? So if you have an opponent like during deployment who is constantly reminding you of, hey man, just to let you know, I have a 30 up to a 30-inch fucking advanced charge turn one, they're getting in your head. Straight flat out, they're getting in your head because again, if you don't screen properly, if you're like, yeah, whatever, dude, and you don't screen properly and he goes first, you're done. If you deploy too far back, you're done as well. So it's like, yeah, if someone says, hey, I have turn one deep strike, in my what I say out loud is I'll be like, yeah, cool, man. I don't even care. That's my little counter play, right? Be like, oh, I can do this. I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever, dude. In my head, I'm like, shit, okay, now I got a plan for this motherfucker's turn one deep strike. But that's like an example of like little mental games that you can play. Like, for example, if you kept reminding me, hey, I can turn one deep strike, then I'll be like, okay, cool. And I'm gonna give you some shit unit to go into and then have a heroic or a counter charge setup. So you launch out those terminators. Hey, cool, man, you kill some scouts, but I get rid of your uppy downy terminator squad. Thanks. Dude, this thing is old. The last time I built a Land Raider was for CSM. That was a couple years ago. So I haven't built a Land Raider in a minute. This guy, holy cow, dude. I will say this, the new Armageddon box set, I really like the new models in terms of how they have the mold lines and stuff. So I did appreciate that from a building perspective. Built a rhino is kind of terrible, dude. I feel you, man. The 30k rhinos are pretty sick. I have two of the 30k ones and then one of the 40k ones. And then two of my no, one of my predators is 30k and then two of them are 40k. When you're playing chaos, you can get away with stuff like that. You can make them look cool. Okay. Where's the thing? Oh, this guy. Yeah, look at that. don't know why. It's easy-ish to fix, but one of my pet peeves building vehicles is when you have a giant fucking uh when you mess up the spacing. I'm also a little more of a like anal retentive builder. My sons make fun of me all the time. They're like, "Dad, you take forever to build." I'm like, "Whatever, guys." Running Iron Warriors. Hell yeah, dude. I started with Iron Warriors. What's your technique for painting the hazard stripes? For bigger vehicles, I'll use tape. But for the dudes, I actually painted them white first, the shoulder pad or the knee, whatever, and then you can use a pencil, draw in your center line, and then equal spacing in between after that, and then I'll paint it black. You can put in your little like scuff marks, and then just use a contrast yellow, and then you don't have to it takes another step out of it. I used to paint it like yellow and then black and then wash it with the like Agrax Earthshade. Cut masking tape and then freehand base coat white then yellow before the tape. Yeah, like I said, I tried that. It's just such a pain in the butt for guys, right? Because you're painting like fucking 10 dudes at a time. It's just like I'm like, man, I am taking forever putting masking tape on, then you gotta take it off, and then you make a mistake, and you're just like, why did I even do this? Um, and then I saw a guy somewhere on the internet. He's like, dude, just use a pencil, draw in the lines, and then paint. I was like, damn, that's such a good idea. Right? I know. Yeah. On the again, on the vehicles it's fine. But and honestly, if I'm just like trying to crank out 10 dudes or even 5 guys, um I might not even do any hazard stripes. I might just have them, black shoulder pad. You got the silver and the gold based. Get them on the table. Work on them over time. Yeah. So I got this weekend. The plan is I got to build this dang Land Raider, and then I got to build 10 of the Flamer dudes, and then I think I can gank the Eradicators for my son that plays Death Watch, and I have to build a Biologist. I prime Lead Belcher. I go back and forth on Lead Belcher. Um, like I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, whenever I prime Lead Belcher, like washes go on fucking weird. Um, so I actually do Chaos Black, then I dry brush Iron Warriors, then I'll wash it with Agrax, then I'll hot dry brush it with like the hottest silver. This is my new favorite silver right now, the Stormhost, and then focus on the trim, get the trim super hot silver, and then I use snakebite leather contrast to get the gold, and then I'll dry brush like a hot gold. What's my favorite gold right now? It's another pro acrylic. My area's a fucking disaster. But I'll do like a hot gold on top of that. It looks really good. I want to do competitive play. Trying to pay my armors fast but not poorly. Yeah, dude. No, I get it. But again, you can still make them look good. Speed painting um and then base. And then I'll do all the details later. Just so I get the 3 colors. But yeah, that's what I was saying. So for Iron Warriors, you got your silver, your gold, and your black shoulder pads. Boom, done. Get them going. Oh yeah, dude, this one right here. This is a great white. But I'm with you. I try to paint as fast as humanly possible without it looking. I still have like a standard. Yeah, holy mold lines. Should be good enough. Okay, we got the Big John. Got this dude. I'm gonna have to drill some of these holes out. Look like shit. I actually haven't even looked at CSM much. Uh what what disposition is taken hold or priority? I'm assuming probably vets. Trying to make Lord Disco. Yeah, dude, the Disco's great. I ran him at Nova last year. I ended up dropping him for LVO. Um, I still ran the 2x5 possessed. I also had 2 venom crawlers. Freaking love those guys. But yeah, the disco is really good. I tell you what, the discos were so fun in Raiders. You can go up there, kill a thing, and then move. think Fellhammer or whatever detachment is taking hold. Yeah, that makes sense. The thing that sucks about Fellhammer is the 5-up field no pain for your Terminators is only in shooting, but the is it -1 damage all the time? Or sorry, -1 to wound all the time, or is it only when toughness is higher? Toughness is higher and in range. Switch to Warp Strike. Yeah, I mean, dude, I think Warp Strike's fucking in a good spot. Like detachment wise. Speaking of obliterators, yeah, dude, I ran obliterators for a long time. Early 10th. Uh it sucked when they went to units of 2. But yes, being able to reposition them is great. What's going on in the Land Raider? I'm gonna do a Redeemer. And I think I will magnetize the multi-meltas and then the Gatling cannon. So then I could probably get a buddy to 3D print las cannons if I ever want to run the other one. I don't think I'll ever run the one with the tons of bolters. Salamanders. Yeah, for salamanders. No, I'm not on Ultra. Well, let me back up. When I get to take and hold, the list I came up with was Ultramarines playing Ceramite Sentinels. I think that's probably a good combo. What's my favorite army so far? Um, Honestly, my favorite army was Packbound Zealots. And then of course when I switched from CSM over to Space Marines, then like Huron comes out and the Defilers, and I was like, I don't even want to look at it right now. I've been spending all my money on Space Marine shit. And I wanted to do Space Marines just to have the collection. I feel like they always get a ton of love, and if you have the whole collection, then it's easy to pivot to different play styles, different detachments. And then right after that, I think it was Shadow Legion was super fucking fun. I think Derek made a battle report for them. I know we played him the other day. This side and this side. Oh, I think everyone's trying to stick that stern guard brick in there right now. I've got the 10-man stern guard in my iron hands. I'll tell you what else I really want. I want a second land speeder. I only have one right now. Those units are freaking awesome. I have a feeling they're going to go up in points though. I don't even know why I'm fucking with these doors. I always glue them anyway. I've heard. Yeah, I hate it already, but we will make it work. Why is this weird looking? Alright, I'm cutting these fucking doors off. I already fucked this up. This is fucking wrong. Yeah, my plan is just to slam the fucking hole together, and then I'll just fix it as I go. But this is fucking ridiculous. You building standard Redeemer. I'm gonna magnetize the multi-meltas and the Gatling, and then I'll probably just get a buddy to 3D print the las cannons. Does this thing go inside? Fuck. All right, that's supposed to be there. All that, dude, it's ridiculous. Yep, I'm just waiting for this to dry. I don't know why, but my least favorite part about vehicles is the stupid treads. The silly thing to get frustrated over, but man, these gaps. Played in the Salamanders, and they had one of the Land Raiders land speeders. Oh yeah, dude, the new ones are fucking sick, man. The shoot and scoot, you can do some really cool things. Yeah, we're gonna have to sand and fill that up. I'm just gonna glue the doors right on in there. I cut a little bit too much off. That's fine. Aren't these teeth supposed to... Oh, it's like this. There we go. No beard. What? I'm Asian, dude. I am awful at growing facial hair. It's not one of my gifts. So what else is going on? Is anyone playing any GTs this weekend or RTTs? I guess it's 4th of July. Never mind. What's up, man? I got back from work and I was like, dude, I need to build a Land Raider and I need to build 10 Space Marine Flamer guys. I'm not doing all that tonight though. But I wanted to knock out this Land Raider. All right. We're building our 3 orc halves of the lunchbox. Nice, dude. Who's we? You and your kids? Oh, what's up, Coop? Dude, I am so excited for LSO. I was kind of bummed today when George sent out the email. I saw a player packet. I was like, oh, sweet. And then he's like, guys, we're going to send it out a little late. Which, I mean, I get, dude. But excited to see you, man. If you guys aren't familiar with LSO, it's in Dallas, Texas. And the Lone Star Open. And it is military themed. So if you served, then you'll sign up for your branch. And then all the branches compete against each other. It's awesome. Oh, it looks like we put these doors in first. Do you need them? To magnetize, I guess. Yeah. All right, well, let's get them stupid fucking doors. Super pumped to see y'all. Um, we're gonna have to set up a group chat. I know, pretty sure Derek and I are getting in late. Dude, there's a bunch of us going. We got, I think, 3 rooms. Um, guys are coming in all different times. One of my roommates, Kenny, he lives in Delaware. I think he's getting in early, so I think he's staying with me. So I need to make sure that his name's on there so we can check out the room and get situated. And then I think we're flying out Monday morning. I need to put hazards on 5 havocs, 2 obliterators. Figured since I primed them all lead belcher, I put hazards on decent enough while we're. Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, like, dude, 3 colors, base it. And if I have the time, I'll actually complete the base. And then work on everything else. Dude, this model is just fucking garbage. Hmm. I'll be getting to Dallas around 3 to 4 Friday. We're gonna have a check in. Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, we'll create a group chat. We'll figure out what time everyone's getting in. I thought you lived in Dallas. How far of a drive is it for you, Coop? We're leaving Sunday. Nice. Yeah, I took off Monday as well. Dude, it's the worst taking the red eye back and going straight to work. Oh, you live in Houston. Dang. Okay. For some reason I thought you lived in Dallas. Are you still bringing your wife? I'm gonna have to make some green stuff for this shit. Yeah, she's coming up later. We're on a vacation day from work. Yeah. Well, dude, it'd be cool to meet your wife, man. Is that Porno King? What's up, dude? You need up more Land Raiders. I would suggest the Horus Heresy one from 30k. Yeah, I'm feeling that right now. I don't even know if I need to sand these parts, but I know when I put those other pieces on, I don't want to have to deal with it later. Yeah, dude. I mean, this thing is fucking trash. But nothing, a little bit of sanding, some sprue goo. Can't fix. There's a shitload of yeah. Yep. Are you playing orcs at LSO? Damn, my bad. right. Starting to look like a Land Raider. Hell yeah, dude. Oh gosh, the treads. Okay, and then that covers it. That should cover it up. Play the other stuff in RGT maybe at some point, but still 11 orcs. That's good, man. Will their codex be out before LSO? Whoever decided tracks needed to be that complex for no reason. You know, I actually really liked with the new land speeder, the little grab things. They were all one piece, which is nice. Like on the repulsors and the impulsors and those things all separate, such a pain in the ass. Super excited to start doing tournaments. Yeah, dude. Dude, tournament play it's just so much better. And then dude, that's how I found Derek and Nolan and like basically everyone in the Philly area. Like my some of my LGS guys got into it later, but none of them initially wanted to go to the tournaments. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna go on my own. The only time I don't mind playing like a fellow like tournament player is if there's like a new guy in the store and we're just like teaching him combat patrol. I'm down for that, but yeah, man. I mean, dude, I'll happily drive an hour for practice games, hour and a half with traffic. Um, for the player pool. Okay, cool. That covers that all up. Something is not sticking right. This is why we dry fit, kids. This would have been a disaster. What is this sticking on? Oh, goodness. I think it's time for a beer. This is going to be a pain in the ass to fix. Drinking rum and Coke Zero. Building a vegan night. Hell yeah, dude. Dude, if you like what kind of rum? Yeah, ask that question first. Damn. I really fucked up this whole side. See that? We're gonna fix this. This part didn't go in all the way. I drink so little. I don't know how to answer that honestly. I'll tell you a funny story about rum. Uh, so on my second deployment, I spent about almost 2 years in Central South America, and I turned 20. Yeah, I was 22, 23. Because I remember turning 23 in Panama. Forgot it was my birthday, and my teammate, we wake up, we were sharing a room, and he throws a card at me. I was like, "What's up with this?" He's like, "Happy birthday, faggot!" And I was like, "Oh, thanks, dude." And but anyway, when we come back stateside, I would be like, "Man, why do the Jack and Cokes taste so much better down south?" And one of the older guys in my team was like, "Dude, it's rum, dummy." I was like, "Oh." And then I got really into rum for a while. So where I'm going with this is it's called Florida Cognac. It's from Nicaragua. It's my favorite rum. And I've tried they make like a 3, 5, 6, I think 12 year, but my favorite is the like 5 and 6 years. Like, don't waste your money on the other ones. But one of my favorite drinks, it's Florida Cognac and then rum and then not your dad's root beer. Ooh, be careful when you're drinking that. Kraken's good. See what you got. Bamboo. Never had that one. Florida Cognac is also really good in what's it called? Eggnog at Christmas. It's out of control. All right. So what I'm thinking is, so the one side's good, the other side is terrible. And I don't think I can bend it to be right either. So what I'm thinking is, no, I'm too far gone to pull this off. What I'm thinking is taking my knife and cutting this. That's my plan. So I think we're gonna do that. Fuck. I should, you know what? Probably would go faster if I drill it. Put filler. Dude, it's really bad. Trust me, that was my first thought. Can I just fill this in? But it's too big. Too big of a gap. See if this works. I cut my fingers. Dude, I was cutting an avocado a couple months ago. I was being dumb. I was like rushing. The kids needed to go, I forget where. And I cut the avocado and then I just took the paring knife and I stabbed the nut. Boom, slice myself right here, dude. And I'm left-handed shooting. I like immediately looked down. I was like, okay, it's not my trigger finger, but dude, this part is still all numb. I don't think it'll ever come back either, so I'm told. All right, I think this is gonna work. Okay. This is the gap I need to get to. I think I need to cut down into here as well. Gosh darn. new hobby knife. This sucks. Wonder if that's enough. Something is sticking up. It's this thing right here. Man, I've really messed this thing up. You didn't kids bad? I am kidding poorly right now. It was even dry fitting and stuff. Time to start over? No. We will make this work. That's the fun part. Who likes easy models? This is exactly what I wanted to avoid. Might actually have to clamp this to, am I going to do that? Do I have a big enough clamp? Still too high. Yeah, still too high. Do one side at a time. All right, that's not as bad. At least it's flush now. So that's good. Oh. Hmm. I think that's probably the best that I can do. I'm just going to have to sprue goo the rest of it. Yeah. Damn. Okay. Let's move on. Stupid fucking treads. Yeah, I think you're right, paint. Left and right. Hmm. So what else is going on? You know what I think of when I look at these treads? It looks like the Wayland Yutani symbol from Aliens. Right? My kids are excited about the new Fire Team Elite coming out. We played the first one together. It was fucking awesome. Yeah, that's what I was saying, dude. Yeah. We're also super stoked about Halo Campaign Evolved. That should be good. But yeah, Aliens Fire Team Elite was fucking great. Thank God there's no friendly fire on, especially when you're using the flamethrower. My 9-year-old always uses the flamethrower. This thing is so warped. Is there any updates on TTS? Or is that still down? Or did the community figure it out? Sakes. Four. Three. Two. And there's L4. Dude, so my buddy's son, he just graduated Marine Recon School. It was the same class number I was, 20 years apart. I hate building Space Marine vehicles. Yeah, Justin, this is not fun. I totally fucked up this, so I decided to move on and come back to it because I'm frustrated. But this Land Raider is a giant fucking piece of shit. I messed this part up over here. Gonna have to sprue goo quite a bit for this guy. Sorry, game with World Eaters. It looked rough. Yeah, I mean, the it was a combination of like testing some things, and then to be honest, I wasn't playing the primary properly. Which whatever. I mean, the other part was we were about to stream, and then nothing worked. So that was frustrating. And then Frank and I were like, we are doing this. So I was just glad to get it done, to be honest. I foobarred a $200. Dang. $200 in the trash. What's up, bum? Dude, my Land Raider Redeemer is difficult as fuck. Guess you need another. Or... yes, I was talking about that earlier. I'm going to need to clamp and sprue goo to fix this guy. This thing is, man, they weren't lying. This thing is a pain in the fucking ass. But yeah, my buddy's son Vincent, he's texting me right now. Yeah, I went to his boot camp graduation. I hadn't been to Paris Island in 20 years, so that was kind of weird to go back. But he was in the pipeline for like a year and a day, so really proud of him for finishing. Let that dry. Nope, this is the 40K one. Part of me, actually, I think when I went to go buy it, I was going to get the 30K one, and then it just wasn't at any of the 2 stores near me. So I ended up getting this fucking piece of shit. Let's line these up. 5. Oh wait, I have to finish the backside. 6. Still a pain in the ass. I believe it, dude. All the vehicles are so fucking annoying. And you guys see Project Hail Mary? I watched that the other day. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. Oh, what's up, Sean? That's why you aruga'd me. Sean, I'm building this for salamanders. That's the next disposition I'm gonna go to. Looks gray. Is that an innuendo, Bob? But yeah, Project Hail Mary was good. I like Adam Weir. He's a good writer. What do you think about building a second with my 11th edition Salamander's? Got some good points, cuts, including Leonard and Redeemer. Why not two? I mean, I don't think that's silly. Just have them magnetized so you can put the last cannons on them if you want. I don't I don't know anyone who's played the regular one with the all the bolters and shit. But I've definitely seen Redeemers and the God Laser ones. It's based on the book. Yeah, Adam Weir. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I thought The Martian, I read the book and saw the movie. I thought they did a good job. I tell you what, one of the um uh The Expanse, dude, they did a really good job of keeping that very close to the book, or the books, I should say. You see The Martian? Yeah, of course. Pumped for the book. Dude, I'm pumped for the book. Just to like get it the fuck done. Um Finishing up the cover, needed to fix a couple things with that. I went to an artist to finish that out. His name is Charlie Banachek. Of course, I'll put him in the credits and stuff. He's doing a really good job. But so the only parts left, the final manuscript's done, in black and white's done. I got the barcodes last night. I had to buy 10 of them. So you needed a barcode or an ISBN number per style. So I needed one for paperback, one for ebook, and then one for Audible. I'm probably not going to have the audio version done for the release date. I'm going to try to get that done in August. But my plan is just to go to a recording studio and just do it myself. I might have a buddy just come produce for me. Basically, he's just going to tell me if it sounds like shit or not. But it's way cheaper to do that than to go through like hiring uh, like a professional book reader. So yeah, I was finishing up I just got the ISBN numbers 2 nights ago, when I was away, and I have to register them. So you buy the ISBN numbers, then you can generate the barcode, but before you generate the barcode, you have to have the completed cover. Haven't read The Expanse. Need to watch whatever came after season 1. Oh, dude, Justin, the ex- so good, so fucking good. Amos ends up being one of my favorite characters. They definitely develop his character more. Okay, so we got treads. Uh we're just gonna move on for now because I'm fucking mad about fucking up the top. So let's go to the heavy bolter. These are not heavy bolters. Or the Gatling cannon. Ah, here we go. This thing's freaking huge. I'm behind on a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, aren't we all, man? uh, but yeah, I kind of got into an argument with my Claude AI. Um, so we're doing it DIY. But the paid version of Claude AI, you can create agents. So I told it to build me a publishing team, uh, and then you need like your chief of staff, so it's like the AI in charge of the other AIs. It was fucking like yelling at me today. I was like, "Yo, fucking chill." Um, I was like, "We're good. We're gonna meet our deadline." But it has been a great help, with just like how do you publish a book. Um, Side note, if you ever uh and this is just my experience with it, if you use Claude and the agents and the projects and stuff like that, there's a thing called a Colby report, and it's a personality test that also takes into account your preferred style of like work ethic. So like in small teams, it's good to I think it's good to like do a personality test for everyone, but I like this one because it shows like psychologically what type of worker you are and like what types of environments. Like for an example, like are you a person that not enjoys but works better with like more guidance? Are you a person that needs like a little bit of guidance and then you're kind of, fire and forget? um do you enjoy like controlled chaos or do you need more order? Derek and I actually both did that report when we started our LLC, and it was pretty accurate. But the book I wrote, it's called Tabletop Gaming for Life, and it's a 40K strategy book. Um, but I didn't write it. I wanted to write something that is evergreen, so not edition specific. And then um so essentially it there's a couple different stories going on. So if you enjoy Pulp Fiction or like Memento style movies, or like inception, then you'll get what I'm doing. But so there's like the main story, which is about delayed consequences, which that's how I define Warhammer 40,000. And so an example of that is like every job and hobby that I've done in my life has been always like immediate action and immediate response. So like I see the target, I shoot the target. I have a problem, I deal with a problem. And you know, I played strategy games my whole life, and I thought, you know, from like chess to checkers, real-time strategy, risk, and I thought like those like that mindset would help in 40k, and in my opinion like it doesn't. um so I struggled a lot my first, I'd say probably before I met Derek and the whole play group that I hang out with now. I was just going to a local gaming store, and I'm grateful for those guys. I'm not talking shit on them, but like I wasn't really like learning how to play the game. I was just going there once or twice a week and just getting my ass beat, and like not knowing why, not understanding like what is the game like asking you to do. And for me, like the difference between all those other games in Warhammer is, so you're presented with a problem, and part of those problems, some of them are opponent based, some of them are mission based, like between the primary and the secondary missions. um and then you answer all those problems, but you don't know the success or failure of your actions until the end of your opponent's next turn. And that was something that I struggled with a lot. Like, you know, you would you know, you listen to these players and they're like, oh yeah, dude, like I kind of visualize what's happening like turn 4 and 5, like during deployment, or like turn 1. And I'm like, I'm not even there yet. So that's one part of the book. The other part of the book is just how that mentality translates to life in general, right? I call it the McDonald's syndrome, where especially nowadays, like we're so conditioned to like everything's fast, right? Download the movies. I don't even have cable television, right? So it's like if I want to watch something, I can immediately search for it and I can watch it, right? Everything's immediate gratification. And I just don't think humans are really designed to have everything be at our fingertips. And I think Warhammer 40,000 is a great example of delayed consequences or delayed gratification. Um, so how that applies to life, and then I give a couple examples. I don't go into like detail, like I just give context, like um, you know, if you watch any of our shorts or our podcasts, like when we first started Dirtbags, I wasn't able to contribute as much as I wanted to, or as much as like Derek and the channel needed me to. But I was going through divorce, like I was dealing with like heavy, like not healthy alcohol use. I was dealing with all my like war trauma bullshit. Um, I almost got fired. And so I was like dealing with all these like life stressors, and it was my 40k friends that got me through like all of that. And it's not like it was like therapy sessions per se, it was just having the hobby, and also a group of friends that were nothing like the other friends that I've had for most of my life. So, and I'm pretty transparent about this, like when everything was going, excuse me, down, like I went to therapy over it, and I was really hesitant to do that. Found this really awesome lady, and she was great. But the thing that I realized with her was like she asked me, am I like an isolationist? And some of you guys in here know me like personally, and I wouldn't quantify, or I wouldn't describe myself as like an introvert or like an isolationist. But the way she framed it was like, well, like describe for me your friends group. And for a long time, I mean, for almost 2 decades, like I had no friends that were outside of like the Marine Corps or like Army, like Special Forces dudes or SEALs or whatever. Um, but the point I'm making was like all of my friends, you could put them into one archetype. So in my head, it's like, well, everyone's deploying and going overseas. Like everyone's getting divorced, everyone's dealing with alcohol, everyone's dealing with all of this. And you know, 40K introduced me to people outside of my normal circles. And of course, like there's a ton of vets in 40K as well. But it was, it was guys like Derek and Nolan and Brian, who just by hanging out with these guys who just have different life perspectives, like help me work through all of my shit. And then of course it's like the tournament scene, so it's like now I have something to uh I have, you know, missions and goals and purpose and so that's part of the book as well. And then seeing how we're just shooting the shit right now, I wanted to start the book off like a Warhammer book. So I've read a ton of the Horus Heresy, some of the 40K books. I like the Horus Heresy better. But I started the book off from a scene from Afghanistan, and we were extracting from this mission, and it was super fucking cool. It was a really bad mission. It was the worst mission of that that whole deployment, but the extraction was cool, man. And I'm like, I was running point because our point man got messed up, so I had to run point for the majority of that mission. And I'm like running down this trail, and it's like pitch black at night, and I hear the helicopters coming. And when you're in like conducting like combat operations, like there's no lights on the helicopters, so you can hear them, but unless you have night vision or they're like right over your head, like you can't see them. And I'm like sprinting down this trail, and then I see this like giant infrared light just like come from the sky, and that's the helicopter marking the landing zone. It's like Starship Troopers, right? But you can only see it with your night vision on. So I hear the team leader behind me, and for recon teams, the team leader is usually number two in the order of movement. So it's like point man, team leader, usually a radio operator, and then maybe a scout, maybe a machine gunner or grenadier, and then the assistant radio operator, and then a couple other like specialty guys, and then the assistant team leader. So anyway, I'm running down this trail. I see the light come down like to my left, and then I hear the team leader scream like shift left. So I start just running towards the light, and then eventually you'll see the helicopter come in. And at the time, we were using CH-53s, which are like the giant heavy lift helicopters. They kind of look like Pelicans from Halo. They have like these giant exhausts in the back, and like these, giant 5 rotor blades. There's a ramp. There's usually a gunner we're like right in the middle of the ramp, and then there's two like door gunners. And so I like start running towards the light. Then I see the helicopter come in, and it's pretty cool. Like as the helicopter gets closer, you'll see like the electrostatic charge come from the rotor blades, which like lights up in your night vision. And then like the rotor wash hits me, like I take a knee, and then we like set up a defensive perimeter, and then the helicopter lands. You wait for the door gunner to like wave you in. So I'm like looking for him, waves me in. I like run, sprint, hit the ramp, and then seeing how I'm first on the helicopter, you go to the furthest seat, and that's how the book starts. And then I transitioned to the when I went to LVO my first time, like totally by myself. It was the first GT I ever went to was LVO. And like I said, no one from my local gaming store wanted to go to tournaments, so I just I'd say for about 6 to 8 months, I would just go to these RTTs by myself. And then I heard everyone was talking about like the Las Vegas Open, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go do that. And then I'm at the bar, and I meet a special forces guy, and he was there by himself as well. And he's like, hey, there's a Vanguard Tactics class. Do you want to go? I was like, yeah, fuck it, dude. I'm here. Like, I'm here to play. I'm here to learn. And so we met all those guys, Steve and Mike, and uh shit, I forget the shorter guy's name, but dude, really awesome experience. But like I didn't feel like, I remember walking into the, hey, what's up, Lynn? Lynn is a special guest. Lynn was my recon school instructor, and then we ended up going to Afghanistan together. Lynn, I'm just talking about the beginning of the book. And so anyway, I remember walking into the hall, and this was LVO 2022. So like we're wearing masks and shit, but it's like, dude, there's like almost 1,000 players there, and just everything was so awesome about it. And I had like the same like internal feeling of like my time in like being in a recon platoon and doing all that stuff. And so that's how the book starts. And I wasn't gonna go into like much war stuff, and I sent an early, really, really early draft. It was the, so that's the preface. It was the preface, and then I have an author's note in there just to give you guys some context for like where I'm coming from. I don't finish a bunch of the stories. It's just context, right? But like guys understand that. So if it's just, so if I'm like, yeah, I was going through a divorce and all that other stuff, your average dude is just like, yeah, man, I get it. They don't really need much more like context. And then chapter 1 is ego. But anyway, so I sent an early draft to one of my buddies. His name's Casper, and he was our data guy at one of my units. And if you can imagine, like any movie you've ever seen where the guy in the field or the operator like calls like the tech guy, that is Casper. He is an incredible human. He's one of my good friends. If I have any issues with my computer, he's like, he'd be like, type in this code. And then he's like in my computer, like fixing shit. He's like that type of guy. But, so I sent it to him, and he's like, hey man, like all this stuff is great, but what happened on that mission? I was like, well, I wasn't really going to go into that. I just thought that was a cool 40K-esque experience, that I got to like live. And it was like, yeah, well, I want to know. But again, I already told you, um, it starts with extraction. So, like I said earlier, I love like Quentin Tarantino movies. I love Memento. I love like back, it starts at the end, and then end of the story, but by the end of the movie, then you're at the beginning, right? So I like Tenet, Inception. I think those stories are so fucking cool. And then I went down a bunch of rabbit holes, like telling one story backwards, the other stories going forwards. Um, Mike's book is like Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Repair, but for Warhammer 40K. Similar-ish. But yeah, so what I ended up doing is I explain that mission, and Lynn was with me on that mission. He was in my sister platoon, and so I kept journals when I was over there. Actually, for all my deployments, I kept a journal, and I'm really glad I kept it. Because anytime I would be like, man, I just want to go back to like the war days, I would just like open up a journal and flip open a page, and it's like I hate every second of my life. And I'm like, okay, like I don't want to go back. I'm only remembering like the good times. I'm not remembering the majority of the bad shit. So it starts with extraction, and then it goes to insert. And so there's this parallel story next to the 40K slash just how I have used principles, which I define as behaviors. And I've used these principles from, combat to training in the Marine Corps to USPSA, which is competitive pistol shooting, to skydiving, to jujitsu. It's like there are these principles that I've found that apply to, basically everything I do. What's up, dude? Sean, was he yours as well? Lynn, that's Sean Bernstein. Sean is a nerd as well. He's into 40K. Yeah, so that's what the book is about. And I had one of the like ideas for the core, like purpose for it is one of the best shooting books for competitive pistol shooting is called The Inner Game of Tennis, and it's a book about tennis, but it's arguably like one of the greatest shooting books not about shooting. So I wanted to write like the greatest 40k book not about 40k. Of course, I go into mission prep, risk analysis, um, another big chapter, emotional intelligence, kind of this stuff. If you were earlier in the chat, we were talking about like the psychological games like people will play. For an example, if someone has like a really fast moving advanced and charge unit, if you are deploying and they are constantly reminding you like, hey man, I can go 36 inches, turn one, dude, they're baiting you. They're baiting you to either deploy too far back, which means you can't play the game if you go first, or two, like they are hoping you make a mistake with your screens, right? So that's all like the psychological games within the game. So I talk about emotional intelligence, which if you watched our podcast, essentially it's from that. And then I talk about building your systems, right, for competing, playing, practicing Warhammer, which again, you could plug in any other skill acquisition based like hobby or sport and apply the same principles. I talk about having building your play group, right? Your play group shouldn't just be people that are better than you, right? You, of course, you should have some of the guys within your circle, like Derek, for an example, or Sasha, or a bunch of the other guys locally, like they are what I would consider my 40k mentors. And they are there to teach. They're me, right? They're there to beat my ass. They're there to make me think. They're there to challenge me. Then you need to have like your peer group, right? So the one dude I talk about in the book, his name's Danny. He just had a kid. But I would say he is in my peer group, and you need to play games with your peers, right? And then you also need mentees, right? So younger dudes at the game store or just new players, right? The best way to get really good at 40k is also teaching people how to play, and then you're also building your community and giving back to your local store and stuff like that. So I go over that, and yeah, basically just told you the entire book. It's a short book. I didn't want to write a super long one. If you've ever read any sort of like doctrine books, like they're usually short. I could have written 300 pages like to add flavor or whatever, but I wanted to keep it generally pretty concise to like the points that I was making. But the plan is to, as the edition moves on, to have basically like kind of add-ons to the book that are like edition specific and also season specific, right? So if you're getting new into 40k, about every quarter you're going to get a balanced data slate, and the game just gets like totally turned upside down. So you'll have to adjust, we call them TTPs, or tactics, techniques, and procedures, for how you plan missions, prepare for tournaments, and your how to practice like Warhammer. And I tell you right now, if you're getting into it and all you do for practice is just play a game, like that's not how you practice. Like you need to break down, and I use the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, to figure out like we're going to spend 80% of our time on the 20% of the hard shit. So there, if I'm, hitting up one of my practice partners and I'm like, hey man, like I want to practice deployment in turn one. And then like that's what we'll do. Like I'll go first, and then I'll go through my process, and then we may play turn two, and then we'll re-rack the whole thing, and then it'll be as if I'm going second. Um, so I'd focus on that. And then there may be other times where, hey, we need to focus a little bit more on like the end game. So I'm not saying we'll like speed play, but we'll kind of go a little bit faster than normal for the early turns. And it's good to focus on the later turns because now you have like minimal assets and you're trying to scrounge, like as many points as possible. Um, so it's like stuff like that. Also, how to like quantify your performance, right? So I talk about this a lot, like in every sport, like it's not, in my opinion, if you're trying to get better at something, it's not as simple as like they won, I lost, right? And I got this from competitive pistol shooting where it's like you need to start figuring out, oh, my bad, Mike Burnison, my bad. What's up, dude? My bad, dude. Um, and so like in competitive pistol shooting, if someone beats you, you need to start looking at the scores and like where did they beat you? Was it, and so in terms of 40K, it's like, did they beat you on the primary? Did they beat you on the secondary? And then just going down all those rabbit holes um, to focus your practice on the things that you're actually struggling with, not just, it, to me, it's a little bit more than, hey, I just need to get games in. And of course, like there's time and place for that. Um, but there's going to be many times where it's like, hey, I just need to like train. Also like finding a mentor. So like I recently went to Space Marines and I was like struggling, and uh this was like part of my ego, but like, and that's why I wanted to start the book off with chapter 1 about ego. My overhead cam is frozen. Let's try to fix this. Yeah, it's frozen on here too. Uh Damn. Well, turned it off, turned it back on. It says it's streaming. Hmm. That is really annoying. Uh well, I'll just finish out the thought. Um so yeah, I was struggling with Space Marines, and my this is my ego right now, right? So right when I finished the 2025 season with Chaos Space Marines, I was top 100 in the world, doing really well, like going positive at grand tournaments. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna make the switch next season for Space Marines. And dude, I have been getting my ass beat. My win rate is down like 14%. I haven't even gone even at a GT since I went to them. And dude, I had to go to one of the better Space Marine players in the area, and I'm like, dude, like I need coaching, dude. I need you to help me figure this out, because like certain things from Chaos Space Marines just weren't translating for me. So that's an example of like your ego like interfering with your decision making, because the first thought should have been, hey, I need coaching, not bitching to myself about win percentages and shit like that. Dude, these barrel holes are a pain in the ass. But anyway, sorry the main camera froze. But I just want to finish the thought. So appreciate you guys for hanging out. We are on track to publish the book in end of the month. And so that's gonna be super dope. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.